What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Waiver Wire Queen. Have you ever really loved a player, but when you look at who their starting quarterback was going to be, it was a hell no on drafting those players? Today's episode, I'm going to tell you some players I absolutely love this year in fantasy football. However, I am not in love with their quarterbacks. I simply don't like their quarterbacks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of great content, which is going to help you throughout your fantasy football season so you can stay ahead of your competition and achieve your ultimate goal. And your goal should always be to win your fantasy football league. So let's talk about these players I absolutely love, but I am not feeling their quarterbacks. Coming in at number 4, we have DJ Moore, wide receiver with the Panthers. I absolutely love DJ Moore. DJ Moore has the talent and potential to be a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football. However, his quarterback situation has been horrible over the last few years. He has gone over 1,100 yards, but there's been several weeks throughout the season where it's been a struggle to get that production from him, and it was due to horrible quarterback play. Last season started off strong, then it was a stretch where it was like hard as hell for him to score because Sam Darnold was struggling. Come in, Baker Mayfield. I don't know why everybody's so hyped and in love with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield hasn't thrown for 4,000 yards in his career. Maybe he'll hit that this season because he should be dumping that ball up to CMC all day. But when I look at DJ Moore and I see Baker Mayfield as his starting quarterback, I'm just not loving it. I'm not feeling the vibe. I'm not feeling the connection. I don't say stay away from DJ Moore, but I will tell you, do not have these outrageous expectations for DJ Moore because it's going to be a lot of the same last year, which was still solid production. There's just going to be those times where Baker Mayfield simply isn't going to be that great. I'm sorry, he just isn't that great. I'm not in love with Baker Mayfield as a quarterback in fantasy football, and it hurts and it's going to hurt DJ Moore's value slightly. Okay, he's gone over 1,000 yards 3 times, but DJ Moore should be hitting 1,300 yards. He's the top guy. He has the talent, and he should be hitting 1,300 receiving yards. This is a pass first game. The NFL is all about throwing the football, and the Panthers simply haven't been able to find a quarterback who's going to be able to produce and be consistent enough so DJ Moore can do his same. Okay. 2021 wasn't bad. It was still good, but it could have been so much better. 163 targets, 93 receptions, 1,157 yards. That's not bad. And 4 touchdowns. I would love to see those touchdowns increase to 6, maybe 8 touchdowns. And I want to see DJ Moore hit 1,300 yards. Don't love his quarterback, but I love DJ Moore. So hoping that Baker Mayfield is gonna shock the hell out of me and throw the football and throw the football well and be accurate and play at a higher level because he wasn't playing at a high level with the Browns, but he's gonna have a fresh start. Still don't love him though, but I still love DJ Moore regardless of his quarterback. Now coming in at number 3, David Montgomery, running back with the Bears. Now Justin Fields, he's young, had a lot of issues last season, but it was his rookie year. It was expected. And when I say a lot of issues, I mean coming from the coaching staff, one of the main issues. And again, he just didn't look great. The Bears' offensive line is horrible. Again, I love David Montgomery, but Justin Fields, I do believe he'll take a few steps this season. Not enough to where David Montgomery's production is just going to be extremely high. He has been solid, but he's starting to kind of decline a little bit statistically. And last season in 2021, dealt with some injuries, missed a few games. So his attempts were down with 225, and that was a career low, which is alarming because, hey, if you're the starting guy, we want to see improvements every year. I'll chalk it up to injuries. I'm gonna hope that's what it was, and that this season he's gonna get back up to the 245, 250 rushing attempts per game, 849 yards. I want my starting um, running back over 1,000 and more than 1,000 yards every year. If you're my bell cow, but again, the injuries and again the offensive line is terrible. Pretty much ranked dead last. One of the worst this season going into the 2022 season, but hopefully they'll make some improvements on last year. I'm hoping. I mean, at this point, it's gonna have to be Justin Fields taking some steps forward in order for David Montgomery to get back to the to 1,000 yards this season. And again, with the O line not being great, and then you add a young quarterback who is inconsistent, it's going to be a tough season for David Montgomery. And again, I really do love David Montgomery, but I just not ready to crown Justin Fields as the franchise quarterback just yet. I need to see a lot more from him this season. Also, the Bears like Khalil Herbert, so you're going to see him on the field a little bit more. Let's be clear, David Montgomery is still the lead back, but if he ends up hurt or he's not producing, his yards per carry is low, you'll see more of Khalil Herbert on the field. Okay. 2022, I want to see David Montgomery hit 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. Maybe a little bit hard to hit the 1,200 yards considering the O line is one of the worst going into the 2022 season, and Justin Fields is ranked almost dead last out of all of the active starting quarterbacks. I have seen people draft Justin Fields a little bit higher than they should, but hopefully they're taking a chance and it's going to pay off. If not, it's going to be a struggle. But with David Montgomery, I love David Montgomery, but I'm not feeling the quarterback at this point. And again, I'm hoping that I'm wrong about Fields, but I'm just not feeling Fields right now. But I'm hoping that he's going to prove me wrong, because I want this young man to succeed and end up being a really good franchise quarterback. Coming in at number 3, David Njoku, the Browns starting tight end. Going into the season, we're like, yes, Austin Hooper was released, signed with the Titans. David Njoku is the guy. Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended 6 games. That has increased to 11 games. So we know now that one, Baker Mayfield is no longer in the building. Watson is not going to be available for at least 11 games. And Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starting quarterback. I'm not high on Jacoby Brissett as a starting quarterback. When people get in my DMs and want to offer Jacoby Brissett to me in trades, I'm ready to scream. I'm ready to just be like, are you out of your damn mind? No, I'm not trading for him. Hell, if I wanted him, I could have picked him up off of waivers. That's how I feel about his production in fantasy football. David Njoku should be on pace to have a career season this year, but again, a lot of his production may have to wait a little bit until Watson returns to the field. I believe his stock is high as hell once Watson is on that field. I think he can be slightly successful with Jacoby Brissett in the short passes. Hopefully, this is going to be a career year, breakout season for Njoku. But again, I feel like he has been inconsistent throughout his career. Some of that has been quarterback play. Some players aren't able to overcome poor quarterback play. And then you have players who are just that talented, and it don't matter who the hell is throwing the football. Waiver wire queen could be throwing the football, and they're still going to get their yardage, get touchdowns, and make me look great in the process, even though I ain't worked on the football field. Get what I mean? With Njoku, we have seen time and time again that he needs a quarterback who is solid in order for him to kind of be successful. So I do believe the success will come later on in the season with Watson. However, right now I'm just not feeling it. I love what Njoku can potentially do this season, but I'm just not feeling the quarterback play that is going to come in place early on this season. And that's just what it is. And now coming in at 1A and 1B or 1AA, however y'all want to do it, Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receivers with the New York Giants. Now, these two guys are super talented as hell. However, their starting quarterback is Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones has been very inconsistent, turning the ball over a lot. The offensive line was really bad last year. I'm expecting to see some improvements from that offensive line, which should help Daniel Jones. But if you're fumbling the football a lot, I'm not going to blame that on the offensive line because you got to be able to secure the ball. So if Daniel Jones is turning the football over a lot this season, then that's going to hurt the productivity of Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson. And these two guys have the potential to be both the starting wide receivers for the New York Giants. It's just, can they be productive? And let's keep in mind, Daniel Jones hasn't produced an 1,000-yard wide receiver yet in his career. I'm going to say a lot of that is on him, but then you have other factors, the offensive line not being great, horrible coaching. We know Jason Garrett was terrible as the offensive coordinator, injuries. It's like with the wide receivers with the New York Giants, the injury bug. I'm hoping that we get past this. Come week 1, everyone is healthy and everyone is able to play extremely well. We know that Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton showed some flashes with Daniel Jones. But again, I do love these two guys, but my major concern is the quarterback. I am a Giants fan. I want to believe in Daniel Jones, but again, I still need to see a whole lot more, and it starts with ball security. I believe if he can secure the ball, then he'll be able to set Toney and Wan'Dale Robinson up for success. But if you're turning the ball over, you're not even giving these guys the opportunity. So I love these two guys. One, because they are obviously on the Giants, and two, because they just have the talent. But the jury is still out on their quarterback. Y'all leave some comments and let me know your thoughts on these players' potential with their current quarterbacks. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of great content, which is going to help you prepare for the upcoming fantasy football season so you can achieve your ultimate goal. And you know what your goal should always be in fantasy football. Dominate your competition and win. That is what we are trying to do in 2022. I'll see y'all on Wednesday. We have a great mock draft plan for you guys. We're going to give you some sleepers and talk about a really good draft strategy for a redraft league. See y'all on Wednesday and have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast.